inside, a peace that I cannot hide. When I think about His grace so strong, He's been holding me all along. I remember when I almost let go, but His love pulled me close. Now every breath I take, I know I've got a Savior who won't let me go. So I lift my hand, I lift my voice. This is the way I choose my joy. I will live, laugh and love Jesus. Every heartbeat is yours, Lord. Forever I believe this. You're the reason I smile when the whole world feels heavy.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another beautiful Saturday on the Young Men and Wives with Burden and Blessing discussion platform. My name is Rosemary, and I am your host for tonight. And tonight we are looking at a very, sensitive, topic that everyone would say is popular. The power of saying no. Setting boundaries in people pleasing. And we have tonight our speaker in the person of Mr. Sam Adeoye, who will be taking us through, what people pleasing is and how to say no. For a lot of us, we have had to go through, people pleasing, and yet not know that we are actually pleasing people against our own self. And I also say something that what is known as people pleasing usually starts in a very subtle way. Starts with very, very subtle behavioral displays and habits, but then and gradually goes into a life that we become frustrated with. What is people pleasing, and how do you identify the one that becomes toxic in your life? Now, we're not saying that you should be unkind or that you should build a wall. Like we noted in the time past, that building boundaries is not about building a wall. It's about creating, that line where no one will cross in order to affect your well-being. Thank you so much, Olabisi Rachel. Good evening. Thank you for always being here. We do not take you for granted. So I want to ask you, our audience, what is people pleasing? What do you understand by people pleasing? Please drop your opinion while we wait for our speaker tonight. We're waiting for him, and I'm very sure that he will be with us in a few minutes. For a very long time, I found myself, being assessed or looked at as a very difficult or impossible person. Whereas what I was doing all the while was just trying to set boundaries in order that people do not take me for granted. But where do we set the boundary? Where do we set the boundary between being difficult and placing your value for people to see and treat you by? How do we separate being a difficult or impossible person from actually setting boundaries? In what way can people pleasing become detrimental to your well-being? And in what way can pleasing people now become a very useful tool to gain access? Because people pleasing can actually be looked at in different ways. It can be looked at as a tool of, creating enmity. And it can also be looked at, a tool of creating, access. So when does people pleasing become a tool for that leads to, you know, you having enemies, or you or it becoming detrimental to your own being. Our speaker will throw more light on that. Yes. Okay, good evening, Olabisi. Okay, Olabisi Adeshola, thank you so much. She said, yes, Olabisi from Lagos. So I asked a question. I said, good evening. Yes, ma, good evening. So how do you access people pleasing? What is your understanding of people pleasing? What has it done to you? What has it done to you as a person? What has it done to you as a person? How has people pleasing affected you as a person? When I found out that my early understanding of people pleasing is that it is something that you do not give people opportunity. You do not give people opportunity to, like we will say in Nigeria, ride over your head. So I saw people pleasing as a no-go area for me. I saw people pleasing as a behavior or a habit or an attitude I should not indulge in, because people can take advantage of you. People do not know their limits, nor do they know how far they should go in the way they relate with you. So because I understood that, a lot of people would not, treat you the way you want to be treated. And yes, there's this general saying that you tell people the way you should be treated, but a lot of people do not, treat you the way you desire to be treated. And now desire to be treated in the sense that the way you portray, even when you carry yourself with class, with respect and everything, there will still be persons who will not take you, who will not act towards you with respect. Even when you yourself give them respect, they will not act towards you. So very early on in my life, I understood that people pleasing can be detrimental to my being. And what I did was I built a wall. I built a wall where I placed restriction to how far your expression or your attitude or behavior can be permitted by me. But people pleasing also, you understand now, can also be a tool that, like I said earlier, that gains you access. Because in the things you do, in your work, in your whatever it is that you do, in your relationship with people, you need to be able to understand how to relate with people, and how to also understand how to give back what you yourself is demanding from people. So, but when people pleasing becomes a tool of, aggression, a tool of fighting or building walls, then therein lies a major problem. Just give me a minute. I want to follow up with our speaker. I'd like to follow up with our speaker. Okay. So it becomes a tool that would not help. So there's something I have here. It said, understanding the meaning of no and the way to use your no is very, very important, because you cannot go through life quarreling with everybody. You cannot go through life quarreling with everybody. You cannot go. It took me time to understand that I cannot access or go through life with the mindset of, everyone is out to disrespect me. even though there are, persons who would not honor you or give you respect that you deserve. But then, it became very important that I try to use that tool of setting boundaries. So when you understand the meaning of no, so what does no mean to you? And you redefining no not as a rejection. You're not redefining no as a rejection, or okay, not with, as a rejection, or as rebellion or disrespect. No, because like I said earlier, for me it was more like a tool of of rebellion. I was just out to don't just come close and disrespect me. So I used people pleasing. I was very, 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 very quick to say no to any behavior or any individual person that shows any form of traces of disrespect. So now, what are you need to actually understand that it's not about, but it is more about actions dealt in wisdom, and it's also about what self-preservation. So when you are able to use the tool of boundaries as self-preservation, and not aggression or rebellion or rejection, you would find people pleasing becomes something that you define clearly, and not. Thank you, sir. Good evening. Once a big
Good
welcome to
evening.
our speaker for tonight. Hello, sir. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so without much ado, please kindly go into the discussion of today, and so because we really want to maximize our time. Thank you,
Okay,
sir. Yes, sir.
you're welcome. Number one, let me first and foremost say thank you to everyone for having me in the house. I'm your small boy. My name is Sam Adioye. Uh, I'm an Oyo man, so pardon me if in between my speech my language comes flows in. Okay, because
Okay.
I'm still trying to master my English and my language. I grew up in Eba. Eba means Abeokuta to be precise. I'm a divorcee. Okay, I'm a pastor. I'm a therapist. I'm an actor. I'm a writer. Uh, I'm what again now? I'm everything that you can say any man is. I'm a graphic artist. I'm a paint artist. I'm a fashionista person. So I do anything doable, so long it is not criminal like. All right. But my passion is to see lives and homes thriving, because just as I do tell people, God did not create human being for religious purpose. God created every human being for a purpose, and the purpose is to equip, to empower, and to elevate other lives. So when your own life is not fulfilling its original purpose, is denying millions of other people the opportunity to fulfill theirs. Now, before I go into uh, the topic that I was supposed to teach tonight, which is the power of no, let me say a little bit of myself. I'm the first son of my father and the only son of my mother. And my mother have 6 children, which means I have 5 sisters. When I was growing up, my mom used to say that you are a man, you are going to feed someone, nobody is going to feed you. So I really do not know what that means until my mom started uh, training me at an early age what it means to be a man. So at the age of 12, I stopped eating in the house. At the age of 14, I moved out of the house to be living on my own. And since I was 14 years old till date, I've been living on my own, taking full responsibility for my own life. Was it easy? No, it wasn't. it was a very tough one. But there's one thing I've come to realize in life. If you set your mind on something and you believe so much in yourself, you will always skip through.
Yeah.
And I do tell people, you cannot believe in God if you don't believe in yourself. Jesus said something so profound. He said, you cannot love your brothers that you can see. Say, if you don't love your brothers that you can see, how can you say that you love God? Let's turn it around. If you don't know yourself, you cannot know God. Because God relates with you based on who you are.
Yeah.
And the reason why many of us have been going in cycle is because we don't know who we are. We compare ourselves with other people. So at the end of the day, we lose the total identity of who we are. So the first thing every one of us should learn to do is to know who we are and then accept ourselves for who we are. As I do tell people, you cannot have a strength and not have a weakness. If you live your life so much on your strength and forgo your weakness, you are denying yourself the opportunity to grow into maturity. Because what will give you a clearer perspective to life is not your strength, it is your weakness. Your strength is already there. It's not going to do anything against you. But your weakness is the one that will point you to areas of life where you need to make amendments, readjust, take a step back, and so on and so forth. So, getting married give me a very wide opportunity to what life really is. Before I got married, I've been doing a research into what marriage is, and I've been doing marriage counseling and teaching about marriage long before I got married. But the truth is this: teaching about marriage as a single not married, and finally getting married and experience what marriage is a total different ball game. And I do tell people, if you want to teach about marriage, if you are still remain married, you don't know anything about marriage. It takes someone who has been single, married, divorced, and remarry again to know what marriage is. Let me break it down for us so that we understand. Majority of us, we see people in marriage, and yes, please let me say this. I'm not praying that anybody's marriage should break. That is not the point. That is not the point. The point that I'm trying to make is that most people in a marriage have a way of covering up for themselves. They're going through pain in secret, but they are smiling in public. For example, the environment, the community where we were living when I was married, virtually all the mothers, all the parents in that community were praying for their children to have a kind of a marriage that I was having. But what they don't realize is that inside that our apartment, so many things was going on. So many things that I cannot even come out to tell anybody. You can imagine a situation where you are married and you can only meet with your wife once or twice in a year. That is one. You can imagine a situation where you and your wife, you have a discussion, you agree on what you want to do, and the next thing she will pick a phone, call her mother, and download everything you discussed to her mother, and her mother will say, no, don't do that. This is what you should do. And she have to come back and tell you, my mother said we should do this, and we have to do exactly what my mother said. Now, not so many people will get to know all that. That is your family thing. And while our own family were dragging me on one side, my own family also were dragging me on the other side. Because here is the only son in the family, the first son on his father's side. Everybody were expecting to see grandchildren. First year, second year, third year, and so on and so forth. I think about she couldn't no, she got the first time she got married was I think 6 years after we got married. Yeah, 6 years after we got married, she got pregnant. And I told her on my way to Port Harcourt, I told her on the way to the airport, I said, don't tell anyone about this pregnancy until it is due time. She said, okay. As my flight was landing at the airport in Port Harcourt, a younger brother called me and said, what you said they should not tell us, he has told us. Congratulations.
Wow.
And in the night, she started seeing blood, and by the following morning, she lost the pregnancy. That was in 2011. Yeah, that was 2011. She didn't get pregnant again until 2016. And the pregnancy of 2016, it was a thing of, I just located the church that I was pastoring, just located the church to another venue. And all expenses was on me because the church I was pastoring, we don't collect tithes, we don't collect offering. If people want to give, they can give, but we don't make it a compulsory thing. And we have a church account where they deposit the money. I don't want to know how much it is. It's none of my business. My concept is to focus on the work. So I put all the resources together. We moved the church to another location. And we had to start the church September 4, 2016. Sunday, September 4, 2016. The following morning was my birthday, Monday. And God said, tomorrow is your birthday. What do you want me to give you for your birthday? I said, the only thing I want is for you to bring people to the church and give them a testimony of a lifetime. And God said, I'm surprised that you did not ask me for a son since you and your wife have been married and you have children. I said, well, everybody knows that I'm serving you. If you give me a son, it will be to your glory. If you don't give me, it will be to your shame. So I don't have any problem with that. And God said, you are going to have a son, but not through this, your wife. And I said, why? And God said, because our time is over in your life. I've given her enough time to realign herself and support you, but she refused. And I said, God, I did not get married to her to divorce her. You are giving me a son, let it be through her. But I'm not leaving her. And God said, okay, she will have the son, but if you don't leave her, she will leave you. I said, okay, fine. We left it like that. And by September, October that year, she got pregnant. And I was shocked because the moment she told me she got pregnant, I knew the second thing that God said to me is definitely going to come to pass. But I didn't say anything to anyone. So, November, I was on my way to Ikorodu for a project when trailer climbed my car and I was the one driving. And it was a total write-off. I think the video and the picture of that accident is on my Facebook page. And one woman came and said, where is the driver that drove this car? And someone said, the driver is the one taking picture. And the woman said, this is impossible. And in 32 years that the accident has been happening on that spot, no one has ever survived it. An accident happened on that spot every Tuesday. Now, to my greatest surprise, the following Tuesday, another accident happened on that very spot. Another trailer killed a pregnant woman and a bike man. Okay. Now, when that accident happened, the mother said, you should sell the car. I said, no, I'm not selling the car. So I fixed the car. And then December 10th, I brought the car back to the house. And then December 16th, she poisoned my food. So I ate the food. I died. And I came back to life and I vomited the food that I ate. So she started finding it so difficult to stay with me, to live with me in the house. To cut the long story short, she finally gave birth July 2017. And then So many other things also happened that I don't want to go into the details of that for now because of time. And then August, after she came back from the hospital, the mother invited me to the guest room and said, "Who is your herbalist?" I said, "I don't understand." And the woman said, "We have attacked you on all sides, physically, financially, otherwise, but nothing is working. So definitely there's somebody somewhere that is making things happen for you." And I said, "Well, your daughter lives in the house with me. I don't have anything, I have only God." And the woman said, "She's my daughter. Whatever I said to my daughter is what she's going to do. I know you love your wife, but she's still my daughter." Say, "Fine. Whatever you want your daughter to do, let her go ahead and do." So August that year, she took her and the baby. No, before then, there's something happened between her mother and my mother. There's a little quarrel. The mother insisted that my mother is not supposed to be around for what they call omugo. And my mother was like, "I'm not around for the omugo. I only came to celebrate with them. I'm going." But when the matter was causing issue, I took my mother back to her house. And my mother left on Monday. And then on Wednesday, she decided to leave. And then the newborn baby that slept on Tuesday night did not wake up on Wednesday morning. Thursday morning, the baby still did not wake up. So on Thursday night, we took the boy to the hospital, and the doctor said, "Oh, malaria." And then the doctor pulled me back and said, "This boy did not have malaria. This is spiritual." I said, "I know." He said, "So do something." So while I was there talking with the doctor, her mother's best friend called me and said, "Is your wife closer to you?" I said, "No." And she said, "Go and beg your mother-in-law and bring her back to your house. If your son remains in that position up to 7 days, he's going to die." I said, "Okay, thank you, ma. I heard you." So I told her, "You can beg your mother and bring your mother back to the house, but count me out. I'm not going to beg your mother because I did not offend your mother. If I offend your mother, I'll be so glad to apologize, but I did not offend your mother. And I cannot see any reason why your mother will insist that I should do juju to grow the church when I don't even have the mind of starting the church in the first place. The church is not mine. The church belongs to God. Will not grow the church. Let the church remain as it is." So anyway, they begged the mother, and she told us to come and pick her on Saturday. So on Saturday, on our way to Ojota to go and pick her, I was driving. She and the baby were sitting at the back. About to enter express, the Holy Spirit just said, "Slow down." So I slowed down, and then the 4 tires on the car were brand new tires. So by the time we go to Mongoro, the very tire or the very spot where she and the baby, or the very corner where she and the baby were seated, the tire just busted. So I managed the tire to one vulcanizer, changed the tire, and then we continued the journey. To my greatest surprise, when we got to where the mother was, the baby opened his eyes. I still did not say anything. I pretended as if I didn't see what was going on. So finally, the woman came back home with us, and she was like, "She want to take her and the baby to the village to go and take care of them." I said, "We have said if she's your daughter, she will do whatever you want. So no wala, you can go." So to cut the long story short, that was the end of the marriage. She left, and from there she started asking for divorce. And that divorce that she asked would be the 16th divorce she was asking for in 9 years, 2 months, and 16 days of marriage. So when she finally left, I told her to file for divorce and send me the documents. She refused to. So 2020, I filed for divorce, and 2022, I had the divorce document. So that is my story. Now, let me point out one or two things. Many a times, if we say yes in a place where we're supposed to say no, we will have ourselves to blame. How do I mean? God said the marriage is over, let her go. I said no. That cost me my life. It cost me my health. It cost me so many things that, you know, because of the mercy of God, I wouldn't be alive today. Now, again, beginning of the marriage, my parents said no to the marriage. And I asked my parents why. And I remember my mom saying she's a good lady who happened to have a bad mother. And it doesn't matter what you do, the mother will destroy the marriage. Well, I thought being a mature lady that she should be able to handle a mother. But later on, I get to realize that sometimes one can be an adult and still behave like a baby. And this got across the two things. There are some who are baby ill in several things. Okay. Now, saying situation doesn't make someone weak. Saying no, how strong and this one is. Because there's a saying in my place that if only thing you know how to do is take, you will give everything out and you will have nothing left for yourself. If in a relationship, be it romantic relationship, business relationship, or any form of relationship, if only thing you know how to do is yes, 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 all the time, you will end up becoming the victim, or don't let me use the word victim, you will end up being a user. The other person will end up using you, and when they use you to a point where they believe that they've had enough of you, they will discard you and move on with their own life. Even God said no to Jesus. Let me point it out to us. Jesus said, Father, if it is possible, let this cup be taken away from me. God never said yes to that. Why? Because sometimes the no is an opportunity for us to get to a place of elevation. Saying no is an opportunity for us to begin to walk in a different dimension of life that will lead us to a place of fulfillment. Most people claim to be in a marriage when they are actually in a prison. Most people think that they are in a relationship when in actually they are in cell, because it is a thing of whatever I say is the final. You have no say in this. And as I do tell, God did not create man to be above a woman. God created man and woman at the same time. Let's go back to Genesis for those of us who are Christians. Even it's even there in Quran. I think it's in Surah 2 or 3 thereabouts. It's there. God created man and woman at the same time. The Bible says that male and female, he created them at the same time. And then later on, the Bible says that, and God formed a man, and he breathed into him, and he became a living being. What did God do? What God did was to took the man he created and put it in the man that he formed, and he became a living being. If you are to look at it critically, the first human being that God created was Amado. I can't remember. Please forget my English. Okay.
Hermaphrodite.
What did you call him, ma'am?
Hermaphrodite. Are you trying to say
Thank you,
hermaphrodite?
hermaphrodite. Yes, thank you, ma'am. That is the first human being God created. So what God later did was to separate them into two. Divide them. Oh yeah, both gender in one body is not working. Oh yeah, let's split them into two. And I want to, please, this that I want to say is out of line, but please forgive me. I'm apologizing to the ladies in the house. Please forgive me. If you check your biology book or science book, please check the woman's clitoris is a form of a man's penis. Check. Is the same, what they call it now? It's the same image, the same shape. How? Why? So it is the religion that places man above woman, not God. That is one. Two, there's an error that is very common both in Christianity and Islam, where they said that, and the Bible says, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife and become one. God never said that. It was Adam that said so, not God. At the same time, this is one question religion had failed to answer us. How do Adam get to know about father and mother when he never? So, which means it wasn't Adam that said that, it was Moses that wrote the book of Genesis that said so. Now, when marriage or relationship is based on a faulty foundation, there is no way the two people who are involved in it will come to terms with the fact that, okay, this person have his or her own uniqueness that I need to benefit from. I asked a friend something some years back. I said, how come both Christianity and Islam don't teach from the verse of the Bible and the Quran where God said to Abraham, listen to your wife? How come they don't teach from that? If you study the book of Proverbs, the book of Proverbs makes us realize that wisdom.
Hello, sir. I don't know if you
Also
can hear
always
me.
to find.
Okay. So I don't
Huh?
know if you can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can
You've
hear
been
you.
okay. Thank you so much. You've been really like I've just been listening attentively and all that. And I can also see the reactions from our audience. But I want us to go into the Q&A because there are questions here already. You understand? There are questions
Okay,
here.
let's
People are
have
already asked
questions.
questions. So please, sir, if you can just, wrap, kind of like do a conclusion, and let's go into the Q&A, please. Thank you.
Okay. In conclusion, in conclusion, when men are expecting their wife to listen to them, men also should learn to listen to their wives. And when a woman says no, women should learn to take no and not it a first thing that I'm the head here. I do tell people it is one thing for you to be the head, it is another thing for you that is the head to have the correct head. Because if your head is not correct and that of your wife is correct, you better make use of the head that is correct and let your own go and rest. Because the most important thing is for the marriage to function, not for the marriage to be in stagnation. And the reason why marriages are failing, relationships are failing, is because the foundation to which marriages are built in the world today are wrong. And for any marriage to survive, religion must be taken out of marriage. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, sir. I want to remind our audience that this is the Young Women and Wives with Burdens and Blessings discussion platform. And tonight we are looking at the topic, the power of no. And I want to really appreciate our speaker for sharing from his personal experience. You know, while he was sharing with us, he had to take us through, his own story, and so that we can actually see the impact of him not, listening to that no that God gave to him. Well, this platform, the Young Men and with Wives and Bodies, is a platform. It's not a religious platform, but most times when we have our speakers come, we have speakers who speak from the place of faith. It is not a religious platform, but it's a faith-based platform. And fortunately, we had to, have speakers who happen to be a pastor. And I want to really, appreciate you, sir, for sharing, because this is something that we don't really see from, people who hold, really faith leadership position. For a pastor to comment and share this in depth, we want to say thank you, sir, for sharing this. And thank you for coming from the angle, because here on this platform, we're very particular about relatable stories and narrative. Now,
Thank
I
you.
want to ask you, sir, the power of no. Yeah, now this night you shared with us, from the marriage perspective, that if you had said no, when God said no, if you had listened, you would have saved yourself a lot of things. But I want to, my question, the question I want to ask is this. Before I ask my question, please kindly drop your questions. I saw a question where someone, that's Olubosede Adeleke, was asking, why was she asking for divorce and why did she poison you? She said, what would she gain by your death?
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
okay,
Let me
do you
quickly
want to
answer
answer
that one.
that,
Let
sir?
me answer
Okay,
that
please
one.
briefly answer that.
Let
Go
me
ahead,
quickly
sir. Yes.
answer that one. Okay. Well, shortly after we got married, okay, when I met her, I told her to go and tell her parents about us. So the mother went to pray and they told the mother that I have a ministry and it's a global ministry. So, but I do not want to go into the ministry, that the mother should convince me to go into the ministry. So when we got married, the mother insisted that we leave Lagos and move to their village to come and start the ministry. And I said, no, that will never happen. I cannot leave Lagos and move to their village. Then the mother later came and was like, okay, I should go and submit the ministry to some pastors. He gave me some names. I don't know if I should mention some names here, but I
Sir,
don't
please
think it's
don't.
necessary.
Please don't. Please
Uh-huh.
don't.
So he gave me some names, and I was like, no, these are prophets and pastors with questionable characters. I can never do that. And besides, I'm not in ministry because of money. Anyway, to cut the long story short, the reason why the mother insisted that uh, she should get out of the marriage and ask for divorce was because I refused to allow the mother to control me. And the reason why she poisoned my food was because I refused to grant her the divorce, because I told her, you are asking me for divorce, you should be able to give me the reason why I should divorce you. She did not give me any. So, and for those who want to cross check, she took me to Alausa. You can go to Alausa to go and verify it. She gave 5 points allegation. I countered the allegation, and they were like, Madam, we can see that you came here to lie to us. So, what is the problem? And she told them, my mother doesn't like my husband, and my husband doesn't like my mother. So, as I do tell people, she's a good woman, she's a good lady, I must clear that angle. But she's a good lady who happened to have a bad mother, and she doesn't know how to say no to her mother. And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Olubose, I believe your questions have been answered. Thank you. Please kindly drop your questions. Tonight we are looking at the power of no, when we're able to what to stop people pleasing and set boundaries. Sir, it's very obvious that as soon as anyone hears people pleasing, it's the negative, part that comes to mind, the negative, consequences of it that comes to mind, which, from your own personal story, it also reflects in this. But I believe that people pleasing people can also be positive, especially when we are trying to gain access. So when we are trying to gain access, so do you agree with this? My own thought. Do you think people pleasing can have a positive side to it?
People's pleasing is good when it is free of manipulation and control. When it is not somebody else that is dictating what you do, what you say, how you do what you do, it is something that you willingly doing all by yourself, that is fine. But when somebody else is the one dictating, somebody else is the one trying to control you, then that is wrong. People's pleasing comes in two ways. Is either the person you are pleasing or trying to please is manipulating you, or you are playing high service. Those two are evil, because at the end of the day, it's going to leave one party totally destroyed. But when it is something that you are willing all by yourself, God says something that is very, very fantastic in the scripture that many people don't touch. God said to Moses, he says, let everyone give as they propose in their hearts. Which means allow people to do things based on what they've agreed to do. God told me something some years back. He said, never beg anyone to love you. So if you beg anyone to love you, you will beg them to be faithful to you. And that is the truth. Once you force somebody to do something, you have to keep cajoling them, romancing them to do what they don't want to do. So people's pleasing can be positive when it is something that one make up his mind to do without any trace of manipulation, control, or using someone. Yes, it can.
Wow. Thank you, sir, for that clarity.
You're
Now,
welcome.
when you were, sharing, you mentioned something. You said it's not all marriages that are ordained by God.
Yes, ma'am.
We've heard that often, but then we now have a situation where, we are told that God hates divorce. So, and then you also shared that you were told to end your marriage. This, will seem to give let me just say a believer, or one who has been grounded in, the Christian doctrines. The Christian doctrines might actually leave the person in confusion. Now, let me try to clarify where I'm asking this. 2023, before I currently live in Canada, and before I relocated abroad, I
I had, I was really going through a lot of, things, and I had God say to me, detox, detox. So detox, and I'm like, what detox? What? So like everything that I've ever been taught in my journey as a Christian, that I was so not to want to put them through a process of examination and detox, and to take out some of them. And because I don't, while going through that, I found out that maybe most of the things I've actually done have been doctrinal, and not really biblical. So having to do an in-depth listening of this, it helped me understand so many things. But now, how do one balance, this how do one balance, God hates divorce. God told me the marriage must end, and what you have actually experienced as this in and come to really take a decision on your relationship now, not only apart from the marriage relationship now, even also with relationship with other people. But now, for now, sir, please answer as it relates to marriage relationship. Thank you, sir.
Exodus 21, verse 10 to 11. Let me just give a phrase there. It says, if he do not provide her with food, clothing, and marital rights, she shall be free. Now, there are some things that many of us don't know. In the book of Genesis, the Bible said that Sarah died and Abraham came to bury Sarah. Question: do you come to bury someone that is living with you? Let's look at it logically very well.
No, which means they
Sarah
were not
waited.
living together.
They were not living together.
Uh-huh.
Sarah waited for 90 years to have Isaac. Abraham took Isaac for sacrifice. God brought him back by miracle. Do you think Isaac did not get home and tell the mother that the father took him somewhere to go and kill him? As a woman that waited for that long, when you know that your husband have a son before you're home, your son came to the house and told you such, will you still be under the same roof with such a man? Not only that, when a woman was brought as a wife, the Bible says that Isaac took her to his mother's tent, not to his father's tent. Is there in the Bible? Sarah divorced Abraham, but the church will never teach it. Islam will never teach it. No religion will never teach it. Now, the question is this. When God said the marriage is over, I should let her go, I told God, the Bible says God hates divorce. And God asked me a question. Say, how are you so sure that I was the one that said so? Because the truth is, majority of us read some things in the Bible and will draw conclusion that it was God. So how are we so sure that it was God that said all the things that we are reading in the Bible? Paul went to Arabia, which is an Islamic country, for studies and all that, came back and was teaching about marriage. This is a man that had never been married. And he said, if you cannot hold your body for sexual desire, get married. Is that a good reason to get married? The truth is this: not every marriage that are ordained by God. And as a matter of fact, no marriage was ordained by God. Let me put this straight so that you understand. Jesus said in Matthew, said, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And then some people came to him and said, Lord, this woman have been married 7 times to the same brothers. If she died now and they all met in heaven, who is going to be the husband? And Jesus said, in heaven, there is no marriage. They neither give to marriage or receive a marriage, which means there is no marriage in heaven. Now, we have found marriage on earth, fine. But jokingly, I say this with among my friends, there is only human being that need marriage to have sex and produce children. Every other thing God created doesn't need marriage. And if you look at it very well, marriage have a way of destroying people's life and destiny. Because the moment you are married, they will tell you submit to your husband, even when the husband is not submitting to anybody. And we pastors have come up with a cliche now: submit to a man that submits to God. How many men are submitting themselves to God, even among those pastors? So I will say this. I said something earlier on. If you know who you are, you will know the God that you serve. Abraham was not a Christian. David was not a Christian. Solomon was not a Christian. These are individuals that get to know who they are. And as a result of that, they relate with God based on who they are. I did the research some years back, and not everybody are meant to get married. There are some people that will never get married. If you fall into that categories and you force yourself into marriage, you will be forced out of the marriage. There are some men, there are some women that they will be the one feeding their husband. They will be the breadwinner, e.g., Okojo Iweala, Ibukwa Oshika. I can continue to count. How many people know their husband? Nobody. How many people know them? The whole world. Bless you, man.
Thank you, sir.
But if some ladies that carry such a grace marry to a man that is filled with inferiority complex, that man will destroy her potential, destroy her life, destroy her destiny. Bless you, man. So it is very, very essential that as an individual, know who you are. And let everything about your life be as a result of what you have discovered about yourself, not what your religion is telling you. Now, back to the question. Did God hate divorce? Well, Malachi says so. But if you go further, there are some things that was said before God hated divorce. It talks about treating the woman in a very bad manner. The church will never touch that. Okay, the religion will never touch that. You cannot be treating somebody anyhow and expect the person. Please let me say this. In my place, they said if you chase a goat and the goat gets to the wall and there's no place to go again, that goat will turn back. Naturally, goat doesn't bite. But if a goat turn back and bites you, just go and buy your own casket. That is the end. Nobody, no medical solution. And these are the things that people failed to understand. So I tell people, as an individual, as a man, as a woman, before you get involved with anyone, know.
Okay.
When you know yourself, that will give you the ability to tolerate the other person. Doesn't matter what the person is doing. You know, this is me. You know the boundaries that the person cannot cross. You made the boundaries already. So everybody will be fine. But when you don't know yourself, especially when you don't love yourself, and you're expecting a man that doesn't love himself, that wants you to love him, to love you, then you are in a serious trouble.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
There's a question here, though. I believe you will touch on it on your Facebook page because this is more like your pastoral. Joy, I believe so. Joy Iyaregbe says, more light on Sarah's divorce from Abraham. Sir, please, you're not going to answer that on this platform. We are here to discuss. Please, Ma, kindly go to his. I'm very sure, sir, that you will do justice to that on your page. Please, you guys should please apologies. Please don't try to follow Mr. Sam Adeoye on his Facebook page. Nobody introduced me to him. Maybe I think algorithm, because most times when there's something that you are actually if the algorithm follows what you are into and then brings you people who share like minds. Okay, sir. I want to ask. Our time is over, but I believe we should just maximize this time because we had network issue coming in. But I want to ask something. This platform is actually for women, but we try to
Okay.
bring in men to give their perspective, because if a woman must be made whole, which is our motto, our slogan, our creed. If a woman must be made whole, it must be from every aspect of her life. And we know that,
True.
as we have, women or men of questionable character, we also have men of questionable character. So we try as much as possible we do not paint men as bad on this on this platform, in this initiative. No, we do not paint men as bad, neither do we paint women as bad. We are more focused on help and healing for the woman, because she really must be made whole. Okay, I want to look at what Miss Joyce said. What I realize is the difficulty of moving or letting go of a marriage. Irrespective of the difficulty, sometimes it takes God's grace and intervention to pull out of a marriage. Yes, ma, you are right. I would say, especially if you have invested, in
So
the
much.
marriage. I know the children are there. But sir, I'm going to allow you answer that, but I want to say something, that one of the things that we battle is, like you said, man, letting go of the marriage. But for me, I sit down and I say to myself, okay, if I have given so number of years to a bad marriage, let me put it that way, how much am I willing to go, and how farther, how many years do I even know that I'm going to spend on earth, to have to deal in misery and sadness and all that? Yes, I know that there's heaven, there's hell, but this life that I've come to understand that exists, why don't I make use of it and be happy? You understand? And then maybe if there is heaven or there is hell, let that time come first, so to speak. And but this life that I have, I want to be able to make choices that speaks to my wholeness and really maximize it in joy. And I'm very particular about not hurting people. But I said there's a slogan I go by. I said, I can hurt you if it will bring me harm, but I will not harm you just to make myself feel whole. So sir, please look at this description or question that this Madam Joyce is trying to say, that really living a marriage can be very difficult. But so for you as a man, it's the decision was there was a bit of difficulty in taking that decision. But I for one feel that it is even more difficult for a woman to take that decision and leave a marriage, even when she knows that the marriage is, there's problem in the marriage, and then she knows that see, there is no marriage actually. We're just taking care of children. So, sir, please kindly look at that and give us your opinion. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ma. Something happened some years back. A lady came visiting. She was out of a marriage, and she get back into the marriage because she loved her husband and she want her children to grow up with a father figure.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I told her, by destiny, marriage is not meant for you. Go home and take care of your children. This lady insisted that she must get married. Eventually, she found a man that that was willing to accept her and her children, and they got married. She got pregnant, and exactly 6 months after she got pregnant, she died with that pregnancy.
Woo!
Now, I do tell people one thing. If you said you will not leave a marriage because you have invested so much, what if the marriage leaves you? What if, God forbid, you die? Are you still going to hold on to that marriage in death? Our major problem as individual is letting go. To be very frank with you, when my ex left, I was paralyzed for 6 months. I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk. For me to stand, I had to support myself. And I remember a couple in the church who practically moved to my house to come and stay with me, both the husband and the wife and their children. It was that bad. Because you have been living a particular life for a very long time, and you've envisaged in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years of your life, and suddenly the whole thing just boom comes to an end. Yes, there is going to be a lot of shaking. And when I say a lot of shaking, I mean a lot of shaking. But one thing must always and constantly be the focus, which is you as a person. Why am I here? What does the future hold in stock for me? Why are all these things happening? If you hold on to things that are not working with the hope that one day it will work, what if it never worked? And at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, what we will end up losing by holding on to something and refuse to let go is in fact is we can't quantify it. I can't imagine doing what I'm doing now if I'm still married to my ex. Never. A friend
Wow.
asked me a question one day.
Hmm.
A friend asked me a question one day, said, I can't imagine that you are thriving because by now I expect you to be totally out of the planet, just go and hide yourself somewhere. But I could see that you are even doing far better than when you were married. The truth is this: letting go, trust me, is not easy. There's no need of sugarcoating anything. But we need to weigh it. If I continue in this trend, will there be a change? If there's not going to be a change, then take the change. Sometimes those some marriages doesn't need a breakup. It just need a break. Go your separate ways for 2, 3 years, 5 years. Maybe you can still come back. I've seen couples that went their separate ways for 10 years. After 10 years, they came back again. I was like, babe, will I say, this thing still did. Let's give it a try. And they give it a try, and it worked. And again, don't let us forget the fact that many people get into a marriage for different reasons. I told a friend, I said, getting married to a man because you are trying to run away from your parents is not marriage. You just lead yourself into another imprisonment. Getting married to someone because nobody love you when you are growing up, you want somebody to show you love, is not marriage. And if you check it critically, I do therapy for people. I see a lot of things. Many people get married for many wrong reasons. And to get out of it become an issue. And that is the reason why I kept saying it. Before you get married to anyone, and even when you are already in the marriage, try to get to know who you are. Is the only way to survive in that marriage. If you don't know who you are, trust me, you can't manage any marriage. Marriage is all about relationship, is all about management.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, sir. I could sit here and listen to you for for because I'm really like there's what we
It's not
call
personal.
exegesis.
Yeah.
It's more like exegesis for me, when because sometimes I
Fasting and prayer cannot
Mm,
hold a
yeah, mm,
marriage together.
yeah, yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
I can
Hello.
hear you.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. I
Yeah, I
want to
can hear
ask this
you.
last question. There's so many questions that are on my that I
I
have
can
here.
hear you, ma.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I would ask so many questions, but time. So I want to ask. I do say something, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Hello. Okay, our network. Okay. Can you hear me, sir? Okay, thank you.
I can
Okay, there's
hear.
something,
Yes,
there's
ma'am.
something I so much believe in, and that is the fact that setting boundary in relationship, especially marriage relationship. Now, you say something that actually also resonates with me, and that is what I believe, and I always say. I say to people, I say, even in the midst of a difficult marriage, as long as you know who you are, you will find a way to what? To make yourself work. Because marriage is a two people thing. If you have tried to make it work as two people coming together to be one and it's not working, you ensuring that you do not waste your time, and you do what? You understand yourself and you make yourself work. You continue in your life journey. You know, it's very important. And I get people, my church people say, how can you be saying that? No, that means there's no marriage. That means that thing is nonsense. That means that is this. And so I do say something. I said, see, what will be worse for me is for me to have, stay put that, okay, just someone, your partner is not forward thinking, is not ready to build or grow the marriage. And then I will now say, okay, so that I will answer a good wife, so that I will answer a good way, submissive wife, so that I will answer a Christian wife. I will pause my life and put myself under, and live my life to, okay, when he wakes up to move, I will also move myself. So I want to ask, how do one come to the knowledge of yourself and then taking action to actually exist as self, even in a marriage that seemed to what? To not, be moving or be working? Because they always say that even as much as there is no threat to your life, then you can just, the marriage can continue. So how can one, as a woman, as a man, continue to, grow yourself even in a marriage that doesn't seem to be alive, or where your
Okay.
spouse is not, working together to grow it. Yes, thank you.
Okay. At the end of this section, I'm going to send you some questions
Okay, sir.
that some therapy questions that you can send to everyone.
Okay, sir.
And I hope and I pray that they'll be able to answer those questions sincerely. But I can bet you, if they can answer those questions
Mm.
sincerely and honestly,
Mm.
I bet you they will not only discover who they are,
Mm.
they will discover so many other things about themselves that will be mind-blowing.
Mm.
But please, please, and please, if by any chance you have this question, please don't transfer it to anyone.
Mm.
I hope everyone are listening.
Yes, sir.
So that is that. Now, one thing is this: in a relationship, especially in marriage, you cannot change your partner if you cannot change yourself. I always tell people, stay focused on yourself. Forget about your partner. You can take a horse to the stream, but you cannot force that horse to drink water. It is not possible. It takes someone who is willing and who knows that he needs help to find help. Okay, I'll look for the question later.
Yes, sir.
It takes someone who believes that he needs help to seek for help.
Mm.
In a situation where a marriage is not working, number one, stop blaming your spouse.
Mm.
Everybody, no one have blueprint of what marriage is before they get into it. We all get into a marriage by accident. Let me put it that way.
Mm.
Now, first thing we need to realize is that this person that I'm married to doesn't know anything about marriage. This person that I'm married to doesn't know anything about me. I don't know anything about him or her. So, this person can only operate based on
Mm.
the level of his knowledge and understanding, one of myself, and then two of what marriage is.
Mm.
All of us, marriage was presented to us from a religious angle,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that is error.
Yeah.
Marriage has nothing to do with religion. Marriage is a reality.
Yes, sir.
Someone
Mm.
called me early hour of today to tell me what was going on in their marriage. Please, this I want to say is wrong. Please forgive me. The husband's manhood is small. She doesn't want to cheat on the husband. She doesn't want to do anything that will affect her marriage. And yet, she has high libido and she loves sex. So, how does he want to fulfill that? A friend advised her to go and look for a man that will help her fulfill that angle. Another person said, get toy
Mm. Sex.
sex or sex toys or whatever they call it. And to her, is a sin. So I told her, discuss it with your husband. If your husband is okay with it, let him be the one to go and get it and give to you. Then is either he use it on you before he perform his duty, or when he finish perform his duty, he carry it and help you to finish to fulfill your own ministry. Everybody is happy. Everybody's find what they want. Because the truth is this: it is not all the time that what breaks marriage is, oh, he doesn't take care of me, he doesn't have money. Because this lady make it clear, say this man is a good man, he's taking care of me. But this one thing that is missing, what should we do? So, as a couple, we need to sit down and discuss some things that are not working. And in a situation where the other person is not willing to sit down to talk about it and find a lasting solution, then you by yourself sit down and begin to work things out. That is if you still want to be in that marriage. And you can do that without having any conflict of any kind. Nobody get to know that myself and my ex were having sex once or twice in a year until the marriage ended. Because I've come to terms that, okay, this is me, this is my cross, and I have to carry it. It is not that she doesn't want to have the sex. It is because, number one, she will only have sex with me when her mother give her the permission to. Number two, she's having health issue. Number three, she doesn't have sex. So how do I want to deal with these three things without losing my mind? So don't let us always throw stones against our spouse. Many people don't know how. And when we find ourselves with a partner who doesn't know how, and we do, then there is wisdom in us trying to work things out all by ourselves. Okay? Now, to know who you are, to know who we are individually, is not something I can say is A, B, C, D. No. That requires us asking ourselves some critical questions. So I'm going to send those questions to you. There are 30 in number for everyone to answer sincerely. Once they can answer those questions sincerely, I bet you they will definitely be on the right path towards where they're supposed to be.
Oh my goodness, sir. Oliver Twister that I am. Thank you so much, sir. Please, my final question. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
I had to draw this question from the statement you made. You know,
Okay.
that there's every possibility that your spouse may not know how. But what happens in a
Yeah.
situation where, yes, your spouse may not know how, but you have, tried to explain or bring it to their attention what they are not doing, and how you people how you want both of you to come together and do that, and keep your marriage working. But I don't know if one would say it's ego, both from the woman side or from the man side, and this person insists on doing what they feel is their own way, and then gradually the marriage continues, and then somehow eventually you now find a situation where only in that marriage by name, but marriage is no longer existing. Each to their own, each to their own. So, and is it possible that somebody not knowing and you now bringing the know or the knowledge to the person, and the person refusing it? Could it be from childhood trauma? And then how are you supposed to live with that, with someone who has refused to learn or grow? You understand what I'm saying? Work with you to grow or learn. How are you supposed to work with that and not grow to a level of resentment and being tired of the marriage, and eventually the marriage will end? That would be my last question, because left to me, sir. I am here from morning to night. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now, the truth is this. Number one, let me start from the angle of us men.
Mm.
We men don't like our wives telling us what to do. And it is as a result of how we were brought up. Things that we were made to believe are acceptable and not acceptable. things that they told us that as a man, when you speak, okay, let me start an example. There is a bishop, I won't mention the name, I'll just say bishop. In his marriage, whenever he says something, everybody line up. And he boasts about it in his church. So one time, the wife fell sick, and the woman was very, very close to death, but she survived it. So shortly after her recovery, she came back to church, and the bishop was teaching again. And the bishop said, when I speak in my house, everybody line up and they obey. He was teaching in the first service. So when it was the second service, it was the wife that was to teach, and the wife said, peace does not reign in a home because you have an answer to everything. Sometimes peace reigns in a home because someone just choose to let it go.
Yeah.
That was the last time that bishop made such a boast in the church. Now, the woman did that because the husband has pushed her. Now, medically, when you silence a woman, because women are naturally expressive, when you silence a woman, it will either run to depression, mental illness, or cancer. Yes, silencing a woman can lead to cancer. Refusing to allow a woman to express herself can lead to cancer. But these are the things that people don't know. So technically, so many women are carrying so many things that is running their system haywire that they do not know. Story for another day. Now, in a situation whereby one finds himself in such a relationship or such a marriage, one thing I tell people that focus on either as a man or as a woman. Focus on yourself, focus on your happiness, focus on your own peace. Someone that is not willing to work with you, there's nothing you want to do that will make that person to work with you. And even if God is the one that says this is your husband or this is your wife, it doesn't mean that the marriage is going to survive. The Holy Spirit said, separate me, Paul and Barnabas. But both of them were never together to the very end. They still went their separate ways. So if it will happen to them, it could happen to anyone. Now, at the end of the day, because the truth is this, when two people come together in marriage, it is a thing of the weak and the strong. And it is the strong that is to help the weak. Now, when the husband is the weak and the wife is the strong, and the weak is suppressing the strong, that family will suffer. When the husband is the strong, the weak, and the wife dragging the whole level of that marriage will not survive. But when both parties knows that, okay, this is the weak, this is the strong, and they decide together, then there's possibility of striving. And I keep saying it, you cannot force someone to take advice, suggestion, or decision from you. In a marriage, You don't decide for your spouse. You agree with your spouse. And then you work together based on the agreement. It is the agreement that produces results,
Yes, sir.
not decision. The Bible says, permit me to quote the scripture. The Bible says, two cannot work together except they agree together. And the Bible also said that if two of you shall agree on a thing,
It shall be done.
so it is the agreement that produces the result, not I'm the breadwinner. So whatever I say is the final, or I'm the head. Whatever I say is the final. No. And in a situation where there cannot be agreement, there cannot be discussion, there cannot be deliberation, then it's better you cancel yourself in the Lord all by yourself.
Wow, 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 wow. Sir, you will, I don't know if you observed, we have spent extra 32 minutes, but I just said to myself, I don't mind us having this admonishment because really, um, um, it's really needed. I want to say a big thank you to you. This is the
Thank
Young
God.
Women and Wives with Burdens and Blessings discussion platform. My name is Rosemary. I'm the coordinator and the founder of the initiative. But this initiative is run by, alongside very powerful women, very, deep thinking and considerate women. And one of the things that we run by is that even though if we are bleeding, we don't bleed on each other. So take we do not take decisions in our own hands. That's why we always endeavor to, bring people who are experienced, professionals to our platforms to look into this. Sir, thank you so much, sir. I do appreciate you honoring us. And I want to say, like I said, Oliver Twist, please keep your door open. We're coming back. This is like a tip of the iceberg. And we're coming back. We are coming back. Please, sir, just keep the door open for us this year. We are coming back to, you to request that you honor us once more. And
No
during
problem.
this week, Mr. Sam, so permit me to call you Mr. Sam, I do,
It's fine.
released two free books I have downloaded. In fact, I downloaded the one on marriage and the one on finding yourself. And I gave my two boys. I have two boys, 18
Okay.
and soon to be 19 and soon to be 18. And I gave them one of the book to read. And I said, we are going to discuss about it. Take your notebook as the usual is, do your summary chapter by chapter, and we will hold a WhatsApp listen to talk about it. Because I found out that, why is that, sometimes when you as a parent is talking from experience and you are trying to guide your children, they don't really see it. They don't get it. So, and I
That's
do tell
true.
my children, I say, see, me, there was no mommy no daddy to guide me, no mommy to guide me. I practically grew on my own. So I became an orphan very early, and I grew on my own, and I took life in my hands. I want to say thank you, sir. Please kindly go to Mr. Adeoye's Facebook page. His name is Sam Adeoye on Facebook. And for you to know the Sam Adeoye who I'm talking about, he has on his page, he said he's a fashionista. He has on his page a black shirt and a black shirt on, and you cannot miss. He has a very balanced teaching. I follow, and I want to say a big thank you to you, sir, for honoring us. Like I said,
Thank
keep the
God.
door open. And thank you to everyone who joined us live. I will, in no particular order, I want to say a big thank you to, Joyce Y.W.W.B. I want to say a big thank you to Efosa Semota. I want to say a big thank you to Olubose Day. Thank you. I want to say thank you to Chixie Yinks. Mr. Ika, how are you, sir? Thank you, sir. I want to say a big thank you to Adekon Bibology, engineer. Good evening, sir. Thank you. I want to say a big thank you to Olabisi Rachel. That's our patroness. Thank you for being here this night. I want to say thank you for even the people that I cannot see of my life, but are joining. as a medium of support to Mr. Sam. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, we do appreciate you. We thank
Thank
you.
you.
Tonight
You're
is
welcome.
very, very, please, go back and watch again. Go back and watch. I do that. I go back and I listen again. Thank you, sir. Sir, please, you are
You're
coming
welcome.
back. Oh, you are coming back, please. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
And until I come your
The
way next
questions are
week.
already sent to you on WhatsApp.
Oh, okay, sir. I'm going to look at it and say, make it available to everyone. Thank you so much. And until I come your way next week, Saturday, my name is Rosemary. I say, stay blessed. Bye.